Hey everybody, it's Jim here. Welcome back to the Audiomo podcast. This is going to be a little bit different, more of an interview style thing. As you can see, I have somebody that doesn't look anything like Dave with me today. Happens to be my wife, Elena. How you doing tonight?
Hello, I'm doing well.
Not bad?
Happy to be here. Long day at work, so this is going to be fun.
I can hope so. It's one of those things where I don't know exactly where this is going to go. Because typically when I do these podcasts, people tune in to hear me and Dave talk about gear a lot. Mm-hmm. And they want to know all about the specifics of the news and tones and stuff like that and our opinions. You're not really a gear person, are you?
I don't know any of that. Sorry.
I think then the first thing I'll start is I got a question. We have a bunch of questions, by the way. So The first one is kind of applicable to that in a way.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and ask it. Is from John.
Hi, John.
I'd like to hear her thoughts on learning the bass, her progress. I'm mainly an acoustics drummer. I got a bass at Christmas, and I'm finding it familiar and also very different. I know she started with the ukulele, so maybe her journey can inspire me and others too. So, First of all, how are things going with the bass? What made you pick up the bass to begin with?
I guess out of necessity. How I've done things musically has always been out of necessity. I started writing lyrics and realized nobody was going to sing these lyrics except for me. So I learned how to sing, and then I realized nobody's going to put music to this besides me. So I picked up the ukulele, and I mean, to this day, I'm not very good at it. I will just say that I'm not good at any one instrument. But necessity is what brought me to the bass, because Jim can play guitar, he can play drums. I mean, he can also play bass, obviously. But live, that's where it really comes in, where I can be there live, because let's be honest, you're going to play the bass on the records anyway.
Yeah, that's just one of those things.
But with that said, I've really loved the bass, and I think that's maybe just because I've always really listened to a lot of rhythm and blues type things, a lot of bass heavy music. So to finally get on it and get the rhythm to it, it actually made me pick up more bass in songs. I got my ear picks it up more in songs now that I've been playing. Even though I haven't been able to get a lot of practice in, the things that I've learned from the bass are way more beneficial than anything I've learned from the ukulele. I kind of picked up how to not read music, but where all of the notes are on the frets and everything, and how that works, from E all the way down, each fret. And so that's actually helped me a lot, just understand music a little bit more, because Jim really understands music and he can't talk to me about any of it.
I've tried.
So yeah, and it's, but so that's actually really helped me. So learning the bass has actually helped me learn more about music theory overall.
I find that interesting. And the reason I find that interesting is because it's not like the ukulele doesn't require some sort of theory on a fundamental level. Mm-hmm. And, they're both four strings. Granted, they're totally different instruments with different purposes to them.
But the four strings does help.
But what I was getting at here is why the bass was the thing that made you start to understand it more. Because you don't really build chords as much on a bass guitar typically in a lot of the songs and a lot of those grooves that you were talking about. You don't normally do that. Whereas on a ukulele, you're playing straight up, 3 or 4 notes together with different fingerings and stuff like that. I would think it would have been the other way around.
Maybe it's because my level of musicianship up a little bit from when I started the ukulele. Not by much, granted, but a little bit more, especially being around him, because when I first learned ukulele, I was self-taught. I mean, I'm self-taught bass too, but I'm self-taught ukulele, so it's really just me memorizing chords to different songs, and then not even knowing which chords I'm playing, trying to figure out the melodies for the songs that I'm writing, just, doing different things with my fingers until I figured out what sounded good. There was no rhyme or reason really behind it. More memorization than learning, I would say, I guess, and understanding. So when I got to the bass and I already had that basic understanding of, okay, I get how my fingers are supposed to move on this. The four strings really helped me cross over. But at that point, I guess I was ready to commit to learn more about the music theory, and just even learning that little, just each note down the fret is just like a note, moving down. That to me just like opened up a whole world of like, oh, wow, you know.
That's cool. All right, I'm going to give you one that nobody asked, but just for curiosity's sake. Now, you might not know the names of these bassists in general, but who are some of the favorite bands with bass that you are listening to right now?
Oh, well, right now, it's a lot of Japanese bands.
Like who?
I have to say, the Oral Cigarettes is one of my favorites.
What a name.
Yeah, I mean, they're Japanese. All of their band names are kind of funny. Like, Cannabune is one of my other favorite Japanese bands right now. Not specifically for bass, but just overall.
Radio, of course.
Oh, yeah, they're so funky. They're so funky. I love them. Definitely check them out. If you like any, 70s music, you're going to love them. Let's see. I'm trying to think of any American music.
Well, you like the bassist from No Doubt.
Oh, dude, he's such a good bassist. He really is. He's a really good bassist. Yeah, definitely. He's really up there.
Yeah, he's somebody that you don't really...
It's underrated.
No, you don't put it together. Well, maybe if I was older when I had first heard that, or more musically experienced, I might have thought that he was a lot better than he was. But I was focused on Gwen, honestly, and that.
Well, I mean,
I was 18 years old, and it was just like I'm like, she is the greatest thing in the entire world.
Yeah, I mean, her voice, she's hot, the whole package.
No, it's not even just that, because there's a lot of attractive women that sing and can sing really well. No, it's great. The stage presence, it's the whole attitude, and that was super punk rock. So it's kind of been weird.
Yeah,
seeing her go all over.
She's kind of grown and morphed
many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's kind of like a cooler Madonna, I would say, except that the music did get worse.
I mean, that is so insulting to throw her with Madonna. I don't know. I would.
What do you mean?
I would not even put Madonna in the same stratosphere.
I'm not talking about talent. I'm just saying as far as being a public icon for as long as she has been, and being able to change, and you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Not talent wise.
Oh, I was like,
no.
Girl, you are
No.
When is the next album?
That's not necessarily just a me question, though. That's a us question.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good question.
I'm more informed to speak about what needs to be done left here. So, all of the drums are done for this we have about 7 new songs that aren't going to be included on this one that's coming up. But the one that is pretty much in the can with all the drums is 10 tracks. I need to do 3 or 4 songs left on guitar. I need to do a little bit of bass. But you need to do all the vocals.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to guess the number one question is going to be, how did you get your wife to allow you to have so many guitars?
What do you mean allow? That's who you are. That's a part of who you are. I fell in love with you. That's who you are. I don't even understand the question. I think because most women probably are not as musical maybe as their partner, or maybe don't understand the value in each guitar. I think people kind of, and not you people, you obviously know, but people who aren't even the slightest bit musically inclined, they don't understand that guitars are so different. Just from one guitar to the next, the sounds are completely different, and depending on the type of music you're going for, you're going to want a different guitar for that to match the sound. And for us, music has always been our number one thing. Mm-hmm. And I would never want to change you. And you've always had so many guitars. That's who you are.
No, it's not always true. At one point, I only had 3. I had 4 if you count the acoustic. I had when we moved back to California the second time. I had the Jazzmaster, the Surf Green Strat, and Audrey, the Telecaster, and that was it. And that
And the
last,
Dove.
what's up?
And the Dove.
Yeah, and the Dove. But that was all I had for like 2 or 3 years. Those are the only guitars I had. When I had to sell the 50th anniversary Jag, the blue one that we had in New York, I sold the blue Mustang, sold the Taylor, I sold the pink Paisley Jazzmaster, the pink Paisley Telecat.
Those two together were so nice.
Yeah, I get those, and those have gone up so much in price that it's really sad. And I keep trying to replace that custom shop. You know that, the black guitar, and I can't. I think the closest I'm gonna get is one of those pink Paisley ones, but the prices they're obscene.
Well, now we also look at it differently. I think before too, you kind of were more of a guitar collector than a guitar seller. You know what I mean?
No, I didn't even think that's what you're gonna say. I thought you were gonna say I was more of a guitar collector than a guitar player, and I would.
Oh,
no. I would have agreed with you at that point, because at that time, I wasn't happy, and I think this is an important lesson for people to have. If you're going through stuff, and this doesn't just apply to guitars, it's serious, but it really is true. Like, you can't buy your way out of it. You know what I mean? Like, I had so much other stuff that was just so bad internally, and my method of coping with it at that time was to just, I can buy another guitar. I don't look at it like that anymore. And now I'm like, it's really strange, because I was just telling you before this started, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to sell 2 more. And you're like, you're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Well, I'll talk to you guys more about the specifics of which ones, but I don't know. I'm more into the minimalist thing, but going back to what you said, there was a second question that will tie into it. It was from Ian.
Hi, Ian.
Ian is great. He's going to be on the podcast at one point.
Oh,
Did you know Ian, the first thing that we got along with, this guy, look behind you,
The Jazzmaster?
and
The
339. What other human plays a Jazzmaster and a 339?
Now, what color are his?
I think his Jazzmaster is a silver burst. And
I don't know what that is, but okay.
it's like just a silver that like fades into black, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Is the one that he has.
Okay.
Actually, it's very modern. It's very,
Okay.
very, very modern. Do you prefer singing over one type of guitar/tone more than another? As in, does she think that the tone of a guitar naturally supports her voice, or more just personally prefers one over the other, as I'm sure she doesn't mind, or can sing over both or all of them?
That's a good question.
That is a very good question.
Really
Because
good question.
that kind of takes you away from your obvious answer. Because the obvious answer is always going to be, anytime you ask her about any of my guitars, she's going to pick a gold one for sentimental reasons. But I think the way that this question is worded, I think it's much more interesting, and I don't even think that would be in the top 3.
I don't have a favorite to sing over because you know which one matches the song and which feel we're going for, which my voice is going to match as well. All of the guitars kind of have a purpose, and it's really cool actually to just get different guitars in all the time and to see what comes of them, because you've definitely written songs on guitars that we've sold that you probably wouldn't have written otherwise if you didn't have that specific guitar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like picked something up or gotten a certain feeling from a guitar, even though you've sold it later, knowing you're not going to keep it.
Yep.
So that is a really good benefit. And I mean, also too, you know enough about guitars where you're not like losing money on guitars left, right, and center.
We would be, you know how bankrupt we would
I
be
wouldn't
by now?
allow him to have guitars if he was losing money on guitars.
I would be so dead if we were genuinely like, just like that is so unsustainable. We do not make enough money
No.
to justify any of that. Like like that's the thing that I'm very transparent about them with.
We make pennies.
Yes, and I try to tell them that.
Yeah.
And it's another thing that is interesting about us. And people, for whatever reasons, this happened a few times, they'll think that I make a lot of money and that I'm rich. and they judge it based on this room. And
No.
I always want to say,
No.
do you notice a few things? I'll give you a perfect example of this, okay? My wife, my favorite sweatshirt that I wear it every time I do a stream basically with Dave. It's a black one, it's kind of quilted, whatever. She's yelling at me to get rid of it. She's like, it smells, get rid of it, we'll
It's
buy
terrible.
a new one. But it doesn't matter. I say
It's
no.
just it sat out in the rain for like a week. It's sun stained.
It is, but I don't care.
To his point, we do hold on to things very long.
Yeah.
And make the most out of what we have, for sure.
Yeah, I run everything into the ground. I run shoes
Yes.
into the ground. I haven't had a new pair of shoes in, I don't even remember the last time I got a new pair of shoes.
You get a new pair of shoes maybe once every 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know. And the
I think
other
that's
thing
about
is,
accurate.
so I don't waste money on that. I cook every meal. Like, I would say 99%
99%
of
of
all
the meals,
I
yep.
don't eat out.
Yep.
If you were to walk into our living room, there's no TV, there's no entertainment system, there's no fancy furniture. We have a sofa, a record player, and a stand. We have a kitchen table with basic chairs at it. We don't waste our money on anything that's
We've gotten
not essential.
hand-me-down furniture from Erica.
Yeah, that's just how we do things. I don't know, because I feel like so many people think, oh, well, you have all this money. It's like, no,
It's what you value in life.
Exactly, and what we allocate the money towards.
Yeah. We don't value things. And the guitars, although they are things, with the music, they provide a different element than, a TV. I mean, like, it's great. TVs are great, and people watch TV and play video games, and we love video games, actually. We really do.
We need a new one to play.
But, no, we actually, you know what's funny? We need another TV so that we can play Monster Hunter World.
Yeah, we only have one TV in the whole house. That's it. But...
Which is fine, actually.
Yeah.
I like not having a TV in the living room, and I like our daughter not being accustomed to always being in front of a TV.
Yeah, that's good.
That was really important for us, so...
That's been a blessing and a curse, because it's been a big reason why we haven't been able to get a lot of stuff done. And so many parents have no problem doing that ever since the kids were 6 months old sitting in a crib. I have work to do. I'm just going to chuck my kid in front of whatever the hell is on TV and not have any idea.
Right. Or they have enough money to hire somebody else to take care of the kids so that they can do other things. Or they have family members that help out. Especially being out here in Florida, we don't have anybody out here to help us. Luckily, your parents come like once a month, once every other month. That's like more help than we've ever had. So that's actually really good. I will take that. But when you don't have that help and you do want to be involved in your child's life and you want to teach them and help them grow and you do want to dedicate that time to them, it does take away from your other passions. But at the end of the day, we understand that it's really important to raise her like that. So it's all about value.
Yeah.
It's all about value.
It's just one of those scenarios where you're not going to compromise. And I'm not going to compromise. And once I make a decision to do something, as you idiots have seen me be the biggest idiot of all, I am the king of the idiots. I said I was going to upload every single day. And I really do. And I don't know, sometimes. I don't know. It's just one of those things. I decided I was going to do it.
Yeah.
So... yeah, I'm very stubborn. You're even more so stubborn than I am.
Yes. When we decide something, whether it's right or wrong, we just stick with it. It's hard to change our minds.
But yeah, and I only said that you guys are idiots because I feel like anybody who would watch me ramble is an idiot because I don't see the value in myself. But when I read some of the comments, like it's starting to dawn on me a little bit. You know what I mean? And I'm starting to understand why people do watch it. At first, I really didn't get it. But the longer I've done it and the more I've gotten to know people, it makes a lot of sense. I say it in a very endearing way in that sense. It's been a very, very, very unexpected is a good word for it, kind of endeavor. But, yeah.
And it's really, honestly, this channel in general has really done a lot for you. As far as just your overall mental health. It really has, giving you something to work towards and a goal and just seeing how people are very responsive to you. You know what I mean? And it's something that I think you always knew you wanted to do and knew that like you should do, but it just took a little bit of while for you to get there. And now that you're here, it feels really good, right?
Yeah.
I'm really proud of you, and thank you all, because I mean this has been really good for us in general as a family, but especially for him too. So thank you all.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's
Yeah.
true though. I wouldn't disagree with that. So I think that's where we're gonna end this stuff for
I
tonight
think so, too.
because I still have to sit up and I still have to edit this. It's what time is it?
10:20.
It's 10:20 on Sunday night. You're gonna be seeing this at 8 a.m. On Monday when you're watching this. So I will have sat up and rendered all of this and tried my best to kind of make it as visually as decent as I could. Granted, we only have one camera, but I'll try and zoom back and forth. We'll see how good of a job I did with it. This was a very, very interesting thing to do. I don't know. I'm hoping that these guys played well. That was one thing that
Fingers
was frustrating because
crossed.
we used two different microphones, but we're kind of really close to each other, so there might be some phase issues. If there are, I apologize for that. I'm not sure if Dave's going to be back next week. It might just be us again, or we might be doing something else entirely. We'll have to wait and we'll have to see. Dave's a very busy guy. So, yeah, thank you all for watching everything that we've been doing the last little while here, and I'll see you tomorrow for, regularly kind of guitar stuff. I think I'm going to revisit the video of the 339
Okay.
and the 335 because I have greatly changed my opinion in regards to how I compare those two instruments. But I'll save that for
Ooh.
another day. So enjoy the rest of your day today, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. Take it easy, everybody.